Aurora. Congratulations on being our Andre Leon Talley Award honoree.
All you have to do is get out there and try.
Aurora, welcome to SCAD and SCAD Fashion Weekend 2024.
Oh my God, I can't believe that I get to be here for the fashion show.
Oh, yes, ma'am. You will see it all.
It's going to be incredible. So thank you so much.
Well, you know, Andre spent a lot of time here and just shared so much of his wisdom over the years with the students, and of course, thought a lot of you. So I think this is so appropriate. I loved reading Wildflower. I mean, what a truly gifted writer you are. I was just blown away reading it.
Thank you. I mean, I didn't get into school for fashion, so I went to school for writing, you know.
Oh, well, it shows.
It paid off in some way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you tell your story. You do a beautiful job of really putting the reader right beside you in your journey. What about this cover? I'm wondering about this kind of secret message that you've got in here. You can cut all the flowers, but you can't keep spring from coming. So I'm wondering what that says about your story.
I think so often there are a lot of forces to try to do everything they can to stop change from happening. And I think we not only have the right to exist, but also we're born to bloom. We're born to be the highest expression of ourselves, regardless of what the world tells you.
It's beautiful. You launched Brother Vellies with $3,500 in a stall at the beloved Hester Street Fair. That must have taken some serious entrepreneurial tenacity to get that started, and look what it's become.
Yeah, I think you have to just start however you can. And I think that sometimes perfection is the enemy of following your dreams at all. I said to myself, I really love this shoe and I really want to share this shoe with the world. And I have $70, so what can I do with it? For me, in that case, I was too small to fail, right? It's like, I have this stall. The goal is to share information about the shoes. I sold a couple of pairs the first time I was there, and therefore it was profitable and it was successful.
Yes, it was successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did persevere. Bring us up to date.
Well, I mean, I think I won the Fashion Fund in 2015. I'm now a judge in the CFG Book Fashion Fund. Brother Vellies has grown leaps and bounds. We work in workshops all around the world. I focus on artisans, so South Africa, Kenya, Morocco, Ethiopia, Burkina Faso, Mali, Bali, Haiti, Italy. The list goes on.
How do you manage those international supply chain issues that you might have?
WhatsApp.
Oh, okay.
But I really rely on the tool of WhatsApp because, you know, you have to just be communicative in any way that you can. And I'm specific about designing within their capacity. And I try to design using materials that are all local to the workshops as well. So truly every day it's just a back and forth over text message.
You got this down.
I mean, there's always surprises. It's part of the reason why Brother Vellies has stayed at a certain size too, because for me, it's about how do we share stories about culture and identity.
It's a profound ambition. Our mutual friend, Diane von Furstenberg, is mentioned a couple of times in your book, and she's a fellow Andre Leon Talley Award honoree. Maybe you'd like to share about how her influence on Brother Vellies kind of got you into handbags.
Yeah, she was the one that was like, you have to start making handbags. I mean, I had never even considered it, to be honest, Paula, because I think it was 2 years in business. But
well, shoes are harder, aren't they?
Yes. Also, even from a business perspective, because you have to have so many different sizes. Yes. So really, she was like, you just do one size. And I was like, sold, you know? So definitely she inspired me in that sense. She's so wise. She's so wise about all things,
and generous.
Yeah, she's very generous.
Momentum can certainly be gained through social media in an instant. And you posed a challenge regarding representation, and it sparked a movement, the 15% pledge. Well, 4 years later, you must be very proud of the continuing impact of your idea.
The 15% pledge was really born out of a time of sadness, frustration, anxiety.
Yes.
You know, I think there were so many people in the wake of George Floyd's murder that wanted to be helpful in some way, but didn't know how.
You gave them a direction.
Yeah, I think that's really what the pledge was about. How do we put a metric on what equality could look like for retailers? And so I'm so grateful that we have 29 major corporations who've committed to the 15% pledge.
So what's your continuing role?
Well, I'm the founder. I also sit on the board. I still do an insane amount of work there every day. And one of the things that I was really quick to realize is that we were actually just talking about this because the woman that was doing my makeup ended up using a product called Denessa Myrix. And when we first launched the pledge, we worked with Sephora to change their accelerator program. Yep, they were the first. They changed their accelerator program. They focused on Black female founders. And as these businesses were getting all of this opportunity, you know, a lot of them are calling me and saying, like, we have this great opportunity, but we don't have enough capital. Unless we have a way to get these entrepreneurs capital, we're not going to be able to even meet the opportunity. And so a couple of years ago, I also started working on a private equity fund. So now I invest in a lot of founders of color as well and help them get the tools and resources that they need. And one of those is Denessa Myrix. I was so happy when the makeup artist pulled it out and started using on it on both of us today.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
it was great.
What do you look for when businesses apply for grants?
I think a new idea.
A new idea.
Tenacity, new idea, opportunity in the market, something that I haven't seen before, or another way to look at something that I see all the time, right? So innovation for sure.
You know, we have courses at SCAD that are called Design for Good, and our students are very interested. Are there any things that you think they should be investigating or working on?
If you're really inspired by, you know, beading, or it's like, look at what's on your mood board and then figure out, okay, where did this originate? And can I involve these people in the process? The more that we can create meaningful, fair job opportunities for people around the globe through fashion, I think the better off we are.
That's a great direction. What are some business lessons that you've learned along the way?
Read every contract, hire a lawyer. You know, no, but seriously, protecting yourself. I think as creatives, we focus so much on the creative part of the work, but if you're trying to launch your own brand, you have to know that being an entrepreneur is the major and whatever it is that you're doing is the minor. Because at the end of the day, like, the math has to math.
Yes, it's the difference between a hobby and a profession.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I talk so much about and I really push on is like the financial literacy part of being an entrepreneur and the ability to pivot and adapt and to read, you know, the signals and stuff that you're getting, because I'm sure there's also parts of SCAD now that may have not been how you envisioned it in the future.
Some of the original majors I don't have anymore, but then I have a lot of other majors that are very timely and are needed. I've written a book recently called Lessons in Leadership, and one of the principles is don't be afraid to kill your darlings. So I'm wondering, are there any darlings that you've had to kill along the way?
All
Good
the
ideas.
Oh my God, constantly.
Yeah.
I think it's an exercise
more
in that.
ideas than you can implement, I'm sure.
Yes. And there are very few, like I'm constantly getting ideas, constantly. But for every 1,000 ideas I get, there's one where I'm like, this is the thing. And when I have one of those, nothing can stop me. I had another one of those ideas last week. Okay. I think it's a very good idea.
Wow.
Those
when are we
things.
going to hear about this?
Hopefully soon, girl.
Okay.
Working on it. I like to work quick, sooner rather than later.
Sooner rather than later. You know, your fabulous podcast, Friends and Family with Aurora James. What do you enjoy most about podcasting?
I really enjoy asking my friends totally difficult questions in a public setting. When people look at women, they don't necessarily feel inclined to then immediately start imparting business knowledge on them in the way that they do with men. And so I think for me, it's really like, okay, how do we get into it and talk about some of these things? That's part of why I wanted to write the book too, right? So I could talk about like some of the horrific decisions I made financially early on at Brother Vellies that really could have totally ruined me. So I love having some of those conversations, getting to ask people like, what's really the situation and why do you do it?
Well, thank you for joining me today, Aurora. You are truly a star, and I know that Andrea was a big fan of yours and so proud that you accepted this honor.
No, I'm totally honored. So thank you so much, Paula. It's so nice to talk today.